October 21st at 7 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. How about we establish a quorum?
Supervisor Jeannie Vogel.
Here.
Supervisor Mark Hain.
Here.
Supervisor Trent Olson.
Here.
Chairman Dan Wolfel.
Here.
And Linda Waite is excused.
All right, good to go.
Good evening, I'm Hugh Zupp, 3986 Lincoln Drive, District 14, County Board Supervisor.
I'm Nick Hoffman, 4820 Highway 57.
I'm Heather, ex-wife, same address. Jenny Brandenburg, 4233 John Road.
Jeff Lang, 6417 Whitefish Bay Road.
And Jeff Schmeckpepper, Whitefish Bay Road.
Derek Demise, Country View Road. Larry Chapman, Glidden Drive.
All right, thank you and welcome.
We good? Hi, my name is Nick Hoffman. My wife and I, Heather, we own St. Nick's Tree Farm, 4820 Highway 57. The reason I'm here tonight is to talk about one of the events that we have going on this year at our tree farm. It's the second annual Not So Silent Night for Door Cancer. Last year we raised almost $11,000 for them in this event. This year's event is still in the planning stages, but it's looking to be even bigger and better. We have live reindeer, Santa Claus, a photographer, Grinch, train rides, Jacksonport Fire Department, more lights than last year, by far, and a pixel light show to music. It's something new we added this year. We've been working on for about 3 weeks. It's pretty high tech. Anyway, we are hoping to present Door Cancer with another large check again this year. The amount of adults and children that came out last year were going through or completed treatments was unbelievable. There were so many people that came out for the event that were going through, they really enjoyed it. Seeing the live reindeer or just having a cup of hot cocoa by the fire and talking about how Door Cancer helped them through this difficult time. What we are asking for support from our town on this event is by advertising it on the display board out in front of the town hall. That's what we're asking for. You can put the event down there. That would be greatly appreciated. Tonight I brought along my sister-in-law, Jenny Brandenburg, to talk about what actually Door Cancer does for our community, because all the money does stay right here in our community. So I'd like to introduce her now.
Give her the microphone, please.
You can remain seated, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. My name is Jenny Brandenburg. I have been on the board for Door Cancer now for 5+ years. What I've seen Door Cancer do is something that is incredibly powerful to be a part of. We assist people with non-medical related expenses in our community. Only in Door County, we have 0 paid board members. Every dollar that comes to us truly goes back into our community. We assist, last month was $37,000 in assistance in 1 month.
Wow.
The need goes up every single month. Thankfully, we have incredible businesses like St. Nick's that are willing to do these events and give us the funds to be able to support our community going through this incredibly tough time. I know everybody has known somebody that has gone through a cancer treatment, has gone through this awful disease. Having somebody there to take away the financial burden of all the things that you don't think about, groceries, gas, your heat bill, your mortgages, your everything that you don't think about that your insurance doesn't cover, that is what DoorCan is there for. And we couldn't continue to do what we do, pushing $40,000 a month in assistance if it wasn't for businesses like St. Nick's and so many others in Door County that give back. So it's a really important event to us, and we love to give people a reason to come out and be together and enjoy Sevastopol, because there's not very many businesses here that support it. So it's a really great event.
So I have one question. Would you rather have it on a billboard than a little sign?
I mean, we'll have our own advertisement signs on our property,
But I mean,
I think the billboard is definitely a big draw for the community to see. I look at it every time I go by.
yeah,
Nick Frymuth comes out, he'll do it the day of the event.
The bigger the
Puts
better,
it out
I
on
feel
social
like.
media. This year, we're gonna do Ad in the Pulse. We already talked to them. So anything to push it to help promote this. Last year, we had close to 400 people that came. We expected 100, maybe 150, 400. It was fantastic.
and I mean, a billboard would put, for Door Can, it's about getting our name out, so it wouldn't be just for this event. Any kind of advertisement would be more than just one event. It would bring attention to the organization and what we do, and
I think unless the board feels differently, I think we could actually do both. And does anyone disagree with that?
I think it's right.
The focus would be on door cancer and secondary your event, and you would work with Amy, our
Yep.
town clerk, who coordinates the billboard with the company for us. But I think that would be a
yeah,
reasonable use,
absolutely.
and we're not going to charge you.
Thank you.
Because we don't pay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
What was the date of the Not So Silent Night?
Friday the 13th of December.
Oh, great night. Can we change the date on the
We
billboard?
did the reindeer this year. We tried to book them a year in advance, and they were booked already.
Sure.
So that was the only day we could get this year.
All right, glad we could help.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, going back to our, oh, I'm sorry, is there anybody else wishing to speak? Either of the Jeffs? No? Nothing, huh? Okay. Moving on, motion to adopt the agenda. Wait a minute, I assume it was properly noticed?
The agenda was properly noticed.
You seem to have a history of doing that, so that's good. Motion to adopt?
I'll make a motion.
to adopt. Motion by Mark, second by
Second.
Trent. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we'll move on. Approval of the minutes, Board of Supervisors meeting from September 16th, just a few short weeks ago. Should have all had a chance to look at them.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the Monday, September 26th meeting.
Great.
Second.
Motion by Jeannie, second by Trent to approve the minutes, Board of Supervisors meeting September 16th. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Two in a row. Okay. Pending business. Just a quick recap from Mark Hain relative to our park restroom project. Mark, it's all yours.
Oh, thank you. Dan met over there today with Portside, and Tuesday, just tomorrow, they're gonna start surveying for the elevations, so they can begin trenching for the water, the sewer, and the electrical. And Thursday will be the target date for digging and getting going on construction. Saturday, we were there, a couple of us, for a couple hours, not even, maybe, hour and a half. And we went in there with some sawzalls and wrenches and drills and pulled apart the men's bathroom, the existing bathroom. Tore the stall out, the toilet, the urinals, the sink. It came out pretty easy, and we found out that when they built them 30-some years ago, they used some serious metal. The doors, I mean, they were like 200 pounds, the doors for the stall. It was unbelievable. So if it was over some scrap metal, there's plenty of it there. So we're gonna keep tearing away at those and then start opening up for future expansion of the interior expansion of the concession stand.
Great, thank you. All right, moving on. Our meeting schedule. Obviously, it's always in somewhat of a state of flux, but you had an opportunity to take a look at that. I think the only thing that's of significance in terms of a time is the change back because of the DNR and the date of deer hunting in November of 2025 So we've reversed back like we have this year to the normal town board meeting on the third Monday of the month. Obviously, road inspection, open book, board of review, et cetera, have yet to be determined. But does anybody have any issues with the dates that are there?
The only question I had was April 21st,
April,
because that's Easter Sunday is the 20th.
okay.
I didn't know if anybody goes out of town for Easter, was the only question I had. Or if families here, they can't do that Monday after Easter. It was the only one I just thought about.
No, I didn't have any issue on any of the dates, so I'm good.
I think, well, the other problem too, Mark, is that we're locked into the Tuesday annual town meeting on the 22nd.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm just,
yeah,
that's the one I
hear ya.
thought possibly if
okay,
people, because of Easter.
all right.
Should be able to get back by that night.
All right, so everybody's good with that? We'll go with it for now, and then we'll fill in the blanks as we move further down.
Okay.
Sounds good. This meeting is going too well. Okay,
Do you need a motion to accept the calendar? Or?
no, we should be good. Next item is the creation of an ad hoc committee for ordinance updating and cataloging. So this has been brought up a couple different times over the past few months, and I think we're to the point with timing that it's a good time to start. I've already talked offline to Trent and asked him to chair that committee. The members of the committee need to be determined. Undoubtedly, we'll have one or two people from the town on there who are familiar with much of the different ordinances, and we'll work through that. I envision, and this is really a TBD, but I envision that we'll probably have to have, or you'll have to have a couple meetings a month to get your arms around the size of the project. I couldn't touch base with our legal counsel because she was gone, but I suspect what we'll have to do is, as you revise, edit, change, or whatever, we'll have to bring those back to the board at a monthly meeting. So ideally, we could hopefully have 3, 4, whatever, 5, depending on timing, ordinances that we could come back, review, approve, and then continue on the process.
Sure.
So you'd have to determine that cycle, but I'm guessing to start up at least. And then we just bring them back monthly, review them, and then go from there. And you'd have to set up the process. We're not really sure, I'm not sure either, what's the best way to deal with the ordinances, how they're filed or accessed or cataloged. You know, we've had a couple offline conversations with different people about the way to do that. I'm not settled on one or the other, so I'll kind of let you work through that.
Okay.
Does anyone have any concerns or want to jump on that committee? I know you can't sleep at night unless you're reviewing ordinances. Okay.
I'd be interested in going to some meetings depending upon when they are.
Yeah, probably attend
If there's
some.
too many of them, I can't because I'm starting to coach basketball and stuff. But
Okay, well, over the course of the next few weeks, we'll put together a committee and try and get this thing off and rolling. Next item is set a December date for joint public hearing with Jacksonport. As you know, I've talked about this numerous meetings, the decision as to whether Shower Park stays at the existing road and gets redone, or it gets moved to a new road, and do we donate the old road to the state as part of Whitefish Bay Dunes? What do we do with the road from the park north to the Jacksonport line? So we've been meeting as a group, trying to determine the course of action to take and what's the best recommendation. And the consensus from that meeting is that we would have a joint meeting with Jacksonport, since we share some of that turf, and discuss all the options. That would be with a representative from the sheriff, the DNR, county, meaning Ken Pavich, the administrator, Tad Ash, the road supervisor, and ourselves in Jacksonport. And it would be here at our town. I should have caught the fact that the 10th is out, but tentative date would be the 11th or 12th. We're soliciting input from everybody on which of those dates work. And hopefully, we don't have a problem with the 11th or 12th or one
You're
of
talking
you.
about the evening meeting?
Evening meeting, pardon me?
I can't do the 12th.
You can't do the 12th, okay.
Why is the 10th out?
10th is out because Ken Babbage can't make it. And
Oh.
it's-
And
he'll-
it didn't work for Jacksonport.
Pardon me?
It also didn't work for Jacksonport.
Okay, so we're down to 11th.
11th.
The 11th is a Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Anybody have a problem with the 12th besides Mark?
Not
Okay,
not
well,
that I know of.
We'll go with, we'll start with the 11th and see if we can work that out. There'll be a presentation here, and it'll be a public hearing.
Are you shooting towards, for 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, or what do you?
It'll probably be earlier. My guess is probably 6.
Okay.
Could even be a little earlier than that, but I don't think it'll be any later than 6. And what was I going to say? So I think everybody will have a little piece of this discussion in terms of where they're going. Obviously, Jacksonport would like us to, the Jacksonport residents would like us to shut off the park exit so they don't have the traffic. So I expect that there'll be a number of people here, not only presenters, but interested parties. So I'll try for the 11th, and worst case, the 12th, the 10th is a no. So, all right. Great. Let's see here. Financial reports. As usual, you have our account balances, copy of the budget versus actual January through September, and you have the transaction report by date. And Amy, you have anything you'd like to add to the list of?
Yes, we received the fourth quarter general transportation aids this past month. The proposed 2025 budget is available for viewing on the website. It's under Budget Financial tabs. And the public hearing for the budget is Monday, November 18th, 2024 at 6 p.m.
Oh, good. No one has any questions of the reports? We would ask for a motion to approve and put on file.
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers, bills, and claims from September 17th, 2024.
Nope.
You're 1 month
Back up.
ahead. One line
Oh,
ahead.
One line
Sorry.
ahead.
Financial report.
Financial reports.
Financial reports.
The
Would you
financial
rather do that?
reports, sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
So we have a motion by Trent.
I'll second.
Second by Jeannie on the financial reports. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, good.
Sorry.
Which, in the case of approval of vouchers, bills, claims, September through October 21st. Trent, would you like to make a motion to approve those?
I would, sure.
You would?
Sure, yes.
Okay, Trent.
Second.
All right. We have a motion by Trent, a second by Mark to approve the vouchers, bills, and claims. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Well, approved. This is going oh too well. Oral committee commission reports. Linda's not here, so we can skip hers, but I'm going to guess that you have something.
I do.
You do. Ms. Vogel, it's yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Laddie, if you'd put that lovely picture up on the screen. So, ta-da! There may be some people that have already seen these vehicles with this logo on it, UNDC. They are the contractor that's working for AT&T right now in our community, have been here around 2 weeks, I understand. And right now they're mapping all the poles, including the height of the poles, where AT&T has existing phone lines. As work continues, copper lines will be removed where appropriate, and fiber will be installed. So please go to the website, our website, for updates, which will continue to be posted. Amy just posted an update, I think today, and that includes this lovely picture. So people don't have to be alarmed or whatever when they see this. They'll know it's AT&T at work. So we're all excited. And also, I'm talked to my contact today at AT&T, and they're looking, AT&T is looking to do presentations at community events. So if anyone is listening that has a community event coming up in the spring of 2025, please contact me, and we'll see if we can put that together. I've already invited AT&T to do a presentation on our April annual meeting, and I think they will be in agreement with that. And by the way, when you do go to the website, there is a header right at the top now. It says broadband, so you can just click on that. Yeah, on our website, on our Sevastopol website. So just click on that, and you will be able to read all the updates. And of course, I'm always available to speak to, or send me an email if you have any questions. Any questions?
You might just, for a second, talk about the TV station, just as a reminder.
Okay, sure. So the cable channel are, forget the number, 933?
96.
Okay. I don't have cable, can you tell? Will be shut down as of November 1st. And to date, I have not received any calls or emails from anyone in the town of Sevastopol. I did receive a call from someone from the city of Sturgeon Bay that likes to watch the channel, but that's the only call I've received. So we will, as I said before, notice some cost savings, and you know, hopefully people will migrate to our Sevastopol YouTube channel, which should be very convenient. You can watch it live, or of course you can watch a recorded event, and be able to fast forward to what you don't want to hear, or go back to what you would want to hear again. So that's where we're at.
Thank you, Jeannie.
You're welcome.
I might add to that I personally had an opportunity to bump into a work crew this weekend that was out there for AT&T, and interestingly enough, as we kind of, I think, expected, they've been out there in the 3 different towns working in the background. So I think that's good news. Even though it took us a long time to get the paperwork finalized, I think they're ahead of the game a little bit, or catching up, whichever.
Catching up.
So, great. The only other thing we have here is motion to approve the park.
I have a quick committee report. So I've been working on the town's emergency response plan.
Oh, great.
I met with Jeb Salins last week. He gave me quite a few updates, had some good ideas. We put in the Door County Ready app, which for anybody who's not aware, you know, that's what's replaced tornado sirens and everything like that. So we have that in there now. We have the calculation for the Wisconsin Disaster Fund, which calculates how much we need to spend before we can start getting state funds. And I'm down to one last issue, and once I have that, I can send an updated version to the board, and maybe we can approve it next month.
Oh, great.
But that is, he recommended that we have a backup site in case this building is gone in an emergency.
What's the address where you live?
We can do that. Not far enough away, but just...
We probably would just, I'm guessing we could probably use the school.
Yeah,
Would be
just use the
easiest.
school, yeah. Okay, all right. We'll use that, I'll enter that as the backup site
Amy,
then.
would
The old
you,
town hall vault
pardon me?
The where?
on Ellis's property, the old town hall vault.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that sucker's been standing forever.
Typically, what they like to see is not someplace next to the place.
know,
I
it's
wouldn't think
Just
we'd
in
want
That's the only
place.
thing is, yeah.
And
if we
just in
had a-
case a bomb goes off
Yeah,
here,
something else.
so you're going to look further.
Yeah,
Thought.
so
Then
if
this
you want to
will-
think on it and get back to me, otherwise, that's what that's why I brought it to the board, because I just wasn't quite sure of what to suggest on that one.
So, I mean, does it have to be in our town?
Yeah.
It does not, no.
Volunteer
You know
from the
what I mean.
audience?
Miami.
I mean, if you got
Yeah,
the Egg Harbor Town Hall in Carlsville.
We could do that, or Jacksonport
Think
Town
of
Hall.
another building.
Trying to think if there's anything else that's really a public,
Is that too close?
yeah, that's probably
think
too
it's too
close if
close.
they're.
An
for the-
or,
alternate
I mean,
location.
possibly we could use the Door County Emergency Services Building, which would be right in town. I mean, we're going to be
so you
coordinating
have
everything with them
something,
anyway.
Yeah.
So maybe that should be our backup. That work? Okay. All right,
would work.
okay. I'll write that in, and I'll have a new version out to you
And
tomorrow.
just to cover the base,
Yeah,
ask to make sure that they're okay with us
Sure.
putting their name in.
yeah.
One of you have a question back there? Okay. Found it. Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
So Trent, is the service that you said that you're working with, you said the Red Alert or whatever, are you sure it's not? Because they were switching to that Smart 911, I think.
Yeah.
They were getting rid of that Red Alert one because that one never worked or whatever.
Yes, it is the, let me make sure I have the name here right. It is the Door County Ready app. We do have a QR code. I don't know if we want to throw this on the website. We've had a couple, this has been brought up a couple times at various meetings, but,
Yeah.
yeah. But Door County Ready is the name of the app.
Oh, okay, so that's something even totally different that they're promoting online, so I was just checking. Because the one that they're promoting right now is the one that's like a statewide one that like Kewanee County is already set up with and everybody else.
Okay.
For their emergency alert.
Yeah, and
everything.
this one's a little more central to our location, so if a tornado hits here, it's going to hit, that's what they're going to alert, and
Really confusing, and I guess that was my question for, yeah, all right, that's,
yeah.
Hugh, so like with that emergency update app, what are they, do you remember what they were talking about?
Yeah, that was Smart 911.
That was Smart 911, so yeah, I've never heard of this Door County whatever.
Okay.
So is this something besides Smart 911 that they're doing, or is this in conjunction? That's where I'm confused.
It is the same.
It
is the same
It is
app?
the same, yeah.
Okay.
If you go to the Door County Ready at the bottom, you'll see a Smart 911 Brandy.
Okay.
And
Okay.
basically you're setting up that account on there.
Gotcha.
Okay,
It's the
I
same.
just wanted clarification because I'm a little confused here, sorry.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Weren't there cards sent out to the, yeah, because
Right.
I thought I remembered that. I went on the,
2
yeah.
meetings ago, and I believe,
Yeah.
Madam Clerk Treasurer had it in one of your meeting packets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have it on my phone.
Yeah.
Did download it, so, okay.
Thanks.
No problem. All right, we still need a motion to approve the Park and Rec Committee minutes from September 25th.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mark, second by...
I'll second.
Second by Jeannie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, off and running, County Board report with District 14 Supervisor, Mr. Zettel.
Thank you, Chairman Wolfle, Madam Clerk Chair, and supervisors. A relatively uneventful County Board meeting for the month of September. There was a couple items I wanted to handle. One was there was a resolution at the county for financial assurance. It wasn't that the county was providing it. There is a non-metallic mine that's going to be operating in the town of Gardner. And as part of getting a permit, you need to provide financial assurance. So the applicant's financial entity basically asked that the county provide a resolution, basically showing support that they're following the ordinance, and they just did that as far as their process. So that was what that item is. Aside from some of the gifts and grants, one of the items is a acceptance of financial assistance that the county is receiving for bat condo installations. There is one that is in the process of being erected by Horseshoe Bay Farms, and it was constructed using kind of a DNR recommended set of blueprints, and it was done by the industrial arts classes at Gibraltar High School. And this item is basically application for expanding the bat condo installations at Robert LaSalle Park and also at the Forestville Dam County Parks. So just some ongoing efforts, to protect our endangered bat population. On the ordinance side, we had some zoning map requests that were approved for the town resident in the town of Sturgeon Bay. Most of the exciting activity basically occurred in the committees, or the committee that I chair, which is resource planning, and I just wanted to highlight that since I know there was an article in the Pulse, as well as just a lot of conversation about it. And that was the proposed POUTS ordinance fee change. And as part of that public hearing, there are a number of updates that were made to the POUTS, which is private on-site wastewater treatment system, which is septic tanks, holding tanks, and all kinds of mound systems and all sorts of varieties of private waste treatment. The ordinance was updated with changes because of changes that the state had and the regulatory agencies. So it was basically doing some housekeeping in that regard. And as part of the process, the county found out through some of their other efforts earlier in the year that the county can recover the costs for the maintenance programs that are associated with what's called the Wisconsin Fund. There was a fund set up back in I want to say the 70s, basically to protect groundwater, and a lot of it was with regard to the fact that there was not a good structured program for doing maintenance of pout system, which basically led to a lot of bacteria coliform problems in groundwater. As part of that fund, folks could apply for grants based on need to have their pouts replaced, since that can be a substantial amount of money. As part of being a member of that fund back then, the entities that were in charge of managing pouts, which by and large throughout the state are counties, had to basically put programs in place that would help administer the 3-year inspection, maintenance, and test program, as well as other maintenance or inspection and audit activities that the sanitarian takes care of. So the county proposed to basically do a cost recovery. We have north of 14,000 pout systems in the county, and they did an exercise with their finance team to basically look at what portion of the sanitarian resources and land use is associated with both that program on the back end as well as other related follow-up audits and those sorts of activities. So what ended up in their estimation was a cost basically of roughly $22.46, which basically is a user recovery fee per pout. So whether it's not really a tax, because the tax is levied against what your equalized value, your value is of your property, but whether you had a pouts on $1 million property or a pouts on a $30,000 cabin, it's the same fee. And they were going to apply that fee or issue that fee along with the tax bills, just from an easier administrative process. So there was a public hearing to talk about the pouts changes in the ordinance, as well as to discuss the recovery fee proposal, and there, needless to say, was a lot of angst raised by folks that attended. At the end of the day, we basically decided to accept the pouts ordinance as written, and basically excluded the chapter where they would incorporate that fee. So at the moment, what we'll be bringing to the board tomorrow will basically just be a vote for the pouch changes, as well as some other fee schedules for land use services. And then that fee component here in the pouch will probably come back sometime next year for further discussion. I think there's a couple things that were learned. I think that the county learned as part of this process. One is having a little bit more detail about the various processes that take place behind the scenes relative to that pouts maintenance activity. I think folks see a lot of visibility to the cards that get mailed, which again is a county expense, and then the hauler basically fills out that form. That's not done electronically, so they did a huge productivity improvement by having the waste hauler be able to log online and complete that, instead of having to mail in the form and having it, data entered in. So there's things that have been done to make it efficient. I think what they don't realize is the county maintains all that data. And so explaining to a bunch of concerned citizens about this fee and trying to have a basic conversation about cost accounting, about, it gets stored on a computer, right? You have to pay for, and as a finance guy, you understand that, right? You got to pay for the part of the IT guy that does that in their salary, and the electricity and the air conditioning and the building and all that other fun stuff that, that cost accountants go after. And I think what I recommended to the county administrator is the county already retains a CPA firm, and I think as part of it, doing some more due diligence going into next year, I will ask them to bring their CPA resources in, so that they can have a separate firm do the cost accounting piece, so that way you have basically an arm's length, if you will, subject matter expert that does that, so we can both provide that more detailed information as well as help them explain, what that means relative to the costs. I think part of the reason the county is looking at this is looking forward to 2026. I mentioned that at my discussion last month about our draft budget, and the concern is not so much for 2025, but it looks like for 2026, the county is looking so far at a $1.4 million deficit. So if I use the user recovery fee, that's just another source of revenue, and then whatever tax levy was being used to cover that can now be freed up for, paying for parks employees or highway department folks or that sort of thing. So it provides the county some flexibility. I think the revenue amount was, $300-some thousand and change. So that's kind of looking ahead of what we're faced with potential budget cuts, is having some other sources of revenue that can make things like headcount reductions a little less painful, because roughly about over a third of the county's budget is salary and benefits for employees, as most companies, right? That's your largest expense. So that's kind of where that's headed. I think the other thing that'll be interesting in tomorrow's meeting, just to get the feedback, is obviously there were a lot of folks that have POUT systems that rallied support. There were really no folks in the audience, except for the 2 RPC members that voted no, to try to retain that fee. They're on a municipal system, so we'll find out with the folks that represent, cities or villages that are in a municipal system. In a sense, those folks that are on municipal systems are basically subsidizing this project. So when you look at it from the fairness perspective, which is something I brought up, since part of my constituency is Valmy and Institute, which they pay a municipal fee. So in a sense, they're paying that, plus they're paying, in addition to that, the part of the POUTS fee as well. So I think there's that debate will create some more visibility for those folks saying, hey, why am I paying for something that I really have no specific cost associated with my house dwelling, et cetera. So that'll be an interesting discussion, I think, tomorrow. So that's on that topic. So I'll pause there to see if there's any questions on that one.
Lots of questions, but not for this evening. On a different topic, just out of curiosity, do you have any idea about the UW water testing, what kind of turnout they were anticipating? I shouldn't say turnout, but
Results?
well, the results are 4 or 5 weeks out. I'm just curious if they felt they got a good response from the community. No idea.
I have no idea.
When I turned in, I did sign up, and when I turned mine in Jacksonport Town Hall at 5 o'clock, it was 5 o'clock on Friday night, they had 2 huge coolers filled with little bottles. So I have no idea. They had 4 or 5 sites, but I would think they'd get a pretty good turnout, but I could be wrong.
And related to this, just kind of going back to this topic, if you look at the latest well water testing that UW Oshkosh did for the county, if you count up all the yellow is basically you had 5 milligrams per liter or more of nitrates, okay? Orange was higher, red was beyond 10. If you look at kind of the town of Sevastopol area and just a skosh north, when you include Clark Lake and along Bayshore Drive, there are more yellow, orange, and red dots in that little grouping in their test from earlier in the spring that's in their June report than the entire south of Sturgeon Bay, the Bay of Sturgeon Bay, which is all of Southern Door, which has all the CAFOs and all the wailing and gnashing of teeth about, cows and nitrate levels in wells, and it's, I think, almost by factor of 2 higher. So one of the things that is a hypothesis of the soil and water folks is that in 2000, the state changed the law that allowed you to put mounds on shallower soils. So if you look at Bayshore Drive, that's, that is a synonym for shallow soils or no soil. And that's, if you look at Sevastopol, southern town of Egg Harbor, that's where you'll see a large cluster of the yellow dots. So it's an area that's going to generate some concern, and actually one of the things they were looking at, the county was looking at to generate, with the generation of this revenue, is they were working on a proposal for with the UW Oshkosh where they could do a nitrate, or they could test for nitrates and know where the source was. Was it a well, was it related to bovine or poultry or pigs, that sort of thing. So know really what the source was. And so I think that's still something they're going to find a way to how they can do that, so that they can do more precise kind of root cause of where the source of nitrates are occurring in the groundwater when they do their well testing. So there'll be more to come on that. So it's an area that's we know the nitrate levels are at a rate that we're not comfortable with in soil and water. So it's just something that we just have to continue to watch for. And that might be something at a future meeting, maybe to bring Greg Colthurst in from Soil and Water and just talk about that. That might, especially maybe after the next 5-week results come in, that might be a good sobering discussion. The other part of our public hearing on October 3rd, it was a very busy meeting, was the RPC approved and sent forward the comprehensive plan and farmland, the comprehensive and farmland preservation plans for 2045. Basically, we have to put a plan together as an entity for 20 years and then an update every 10. So this was the 2045 plan. Where it's important for us is that in the county is they kind of combined the farmland preservation plan, since there was overlap with the comprehensive zoning plan that they do. Farmland preservation is important for those residents in the county that farm and have their acreage that are under this farmland preservation, since they get a payment for having their acreage to remain agricultural. So we're probably going to have this as the next public hearing at the county board level, I believe, at the November meeting, to approve that, so that way it doesn't jeopardize farmers that are basically looking forward to that, continuing getting that credit for farmland preservation. Most of the work that they did in this comprehensive plan kind of was drawn from feedback from the towns, updated the zoning maps, future zoning maps, that sort of thing. And then with some another new chapter that talked about, bike paths and bike planning for, non-motorized vehicles. So that's also a new draft chapter in this comprehensive plan. So that next up will be a review, a public hearing at the county board meeting.
Cool.
All right. With that, if there aren't any other questions, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you always make the trip in here to talk about it personally rather than just drop us a little note. Okay, going back to where we're at here, we have in your packet, you have a copy of the inspection specialist monthly report. And Amy's also provided us a copy of the building permits. You'll note the town of Sevastopol has a permit for the restrooms. We're legal.
Yes.
So we've done that. All right. Going off onto correspondence, not a lot today. Population figures, I think we actually covered this earlier. They're estimating our population to be 2,867 people. Which I thought was interesting, from 2464, and I think they gave us in the earlier one how many were of voting age. And
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is,
It's in there.
2464.
Are under 18. There you go.
That's
Appreciate
unbelievable.
It.
When you think about that, I have a school right here.
Oh.
Going 400. Thank God we have a couple other towns that support the school. I mean, holy cats.
That's not many.
No. Get that referendum in, thank you. Okay, you also have a copy of the Sturgeon Bay Fire Department report for the month of August. And I think Amy mentioned this, yes, this was the receipts from the state. And that's everything that we have in the correspondence file. We have a bunch of announcements. The first one is in-person absentee voting begins Tuesday, October 22nd. That's got to be real close.
That's like tomorrow.
Oh,
Flowers.
yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, not many
Stay there.
hours.
Might as well.
Also, the presidential election, you're going to be shocked at this. It's going to be Tuesday, November 5th, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And as Amy mentioned earlier, the public hearing and the special electors meeting and the Board of Supervisors meeting is Monday, November 18th, starting at 6 p.m. Please note that depending on how quickly the public hearing and the special elector meeting goes, it is possible that the board meeting will follow immediately thereafter. So it could be prior to 7 p.m. or it could be after 7 p.m. start. But just so you're aware of that if you're planning on attending. Then we have our 6th annual town Christmas party on Friday, December 6th at 5 to 8 p.m. And our EMRs are invited, as well as any and all citizens and children that would like to attend. We always seem to have a pretty good time and certainly have adequate beverages and food.
Mr. Chairman, could we have a piano tuned in time for the party?
Didn't we just have it tuned last year?
Yes, it needs to be tuned every year. Unfortunately,
Really? What do I know?
I don't make pianos, but that's the case.
I suppose if that's needed, I will let our town clerk handle that.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And the next Board of Supervisors meeting is Monday, December 16th at 7 p.m. And just as a reminder, I will work through the December 11th to try and get the Shower Park joint meeting there. So plug that into your calendars for now. And that's everything that I have other than a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Trent.
Second.
Second by?
Second.
Second by Mark. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Love it, less than an hour.